same of what we had today.
Well, it will be for the next 24 hours. Sunday, we won't be in the same situation, but that picture you just showed us really kind of gives us a little microcosm of what's going on. You saw the sunshine along the lake in the foreground, but those ominous clouds just off to the north. There is a winter storm warning. It is posted for Cook County, also for portions of northwest Indiana. That is until midnight tonight here on the Illinois side. And if you look downtown, not snowing. The streets are in pretty good shape. But meanwhile, off to the north and to the northwest, up just to the west of O'Hare, visibility down under a quarter mile from this system that's bringing us some moderately heavy snowfall. This is lake effect snow that's popping in now through the western suburbs, heading off to the south and to the southwest. And we'll have this lake effect snow continuing as we go through the evening and the overnight hours. We'll see some moderately heavy snowfall, especially in the south end of the lake in northwest Indiana, where the snow could come down 4, 5, and even 6 inches by the time it's done about this time tomorrow night. I'll have more coming up in a moment.
All right, looking forward to that, Mark. Thank you so much. With a winter storm warning in effect for parts of our area, it's shaping up to be a busy time for those in the snow removal business.
Yeah, Brett Bagansky is live in the West Loop. Brett, some Chicagoans might say this is just a pretty typical winter, but is this one different so far?
I think it's a bit subjective depending on who you speak to. But here's two things that make this winter very, very different from people who are in the snow removal business. Number one, they certainly got an early start. You remember the significant snowfall that we had right around Thanksgiving, where parts of our area had just about a foot of snow. But the other thing is the cold temperatures that are feeling well below average, and especially what we've experienced the last few weeks. So I checked the National Weather Service and the daily almanac to look at the snow totals. So normally for this time of year, the snowfall that we have for this point in time averages out to about 20 inches. We are already at more than 28 inches. That was the reading at Chicago O'Hare. So I guess you put things in perspective. That's kind of what we're looking at right now when it comes to the snow. But we were out here earlier and spoke with Snow Systems from Wheeling. They had crews out here plowing the parking lots, shoveling sidewalks, throwing down some snow, and then scraping ice from the sidewalks here outside the Jewel Osco on Roosevelt and Canal. So this crew here averages between 15 and 20 stops a day. And especially when you have a snow event like today, their day is not done. They're expecting to be busy all weekend long, and they're watching our forecast because, you heard meteorologist Mark Stroll talk about that lake effect snow that could have them going to the same job sites multiple times. Bob Slukowski is one of the managers for Snow Systems, who told me it's important to not only keep the paths clear so people don't fall, but also keep his coworkers safe.
When it gets super dangerous is when you get your wind chills down below 20, negative 20. But the guys hunker down. They'll dress, accordingly. They'll get their clothes on to what they need to wear, and they put some extra layers on, and we get it through. We'll get our job done, because this is a lot of the guys. This is what they during the winter. This is how they survive. They're off from their day jobs.
And Bob told me when that happens, it's always important for the crews to take multiple breaks. He brings them coffee, maybe some chicken soup, and then they go inside their car. If they have access to a building, they will go inside their building. But just to keep everybody safe, you have the sidewalk clear right now. They did a really good job of removing any of that ice, but that's certainly not the case depending on where you are across the city. And just to be safe, Bob told me you just have to move like a penguin, just to make sure you don't fall down during this time, because we're certainly not out of winter and we're certainly not out of January yet. We're live in the West Loop right now. Brett Bagansky, Fox Chicago.
So we have Brett Bagansky with Bob Slukowski outside the Jewels here in winter. We've got the trifecta. I love it. All right, thanks, Brett. Protesters are braving these single-digit temperatures to make their voices heard as tensions continue over ice raids in Minneapolis and right here in Chicago.
Leslie Moreno is at Daily Plaza with a look at that demonstration going on right now. Leslie?
Hey guys, good evening. Yeah, hundreds of people and small businesses are taking part in this national shutdown day. This is a protest against ICE and immigration enforcements that have been taking place not just here in Chicago, but in cities across the country. Giving you a look at what we're seeing here, you can see a crowd start to gather here. The protest just started at around 4, so it's very likely this crowd will grow here in the coming minutes. You can see people with signs, flags. We have speakers as well getting ready to talk. This is just one of many demonstrations taking place today, again, across the country. Many businesses deciding to close to stand in solidarity. People were also encouraged to skip school, to skip work and shopping altogether. Others who couldn't close today are instead raising funds or donating proceeds to support immigrant rights and organizations. The purpose of this protest is change. People here want an end to enforcement practices. This nationwide movement is also to stand in solidarity with Minneapolis following those fatal shootings involving federal immigration agents. Again, back out here live, this crowd continues growing here as the minutes pass. The hope with this movement is to show resistance and convince the Trump administration to stop sending federal agents to not just Chicago, but to cities all across the country. For now, reporting live here at Daily Plaza, Leslie Moreno, Fox Chicago.
All right, Leslie, thank you for that report. Area businesses are also joining in this nationwide protest. They're either closing their doors altogether or donating profits from today's sales to nonprofits advocating for immigrant rights. The owners of Bar Kumiko says her doors will remain closed tonight to send a very strong message.
I'm joining the general strike because I believe that what ICE is being empowered to do, that what the administration is pushing for is wrong. And I believe that all of the people of color who have been terrorized, murdered in front of us for generations, everything that they have gone through is culminating now where we cannot look away and we should not look away. And so if there's anyone who feels that same way, I would urge them not to be afraid to step up, because if we don't, the system will remain.
Bar Kumiko employees are still being paid for the day. Doors will reopen come tomorrow.
And this national shutdown comes as DOJ has opened a civil rights investigation into the shooting death of Minneapolis protester Alex Preddy.
We're looking at videos, talking to witnesses, trying to understand what happened. I mean, you're talking about an incredibly tragic morning, and then trying to unwind and investigate that it takes a lot of time.
Preddy was shot and killed by federal agents last weekend while protesting ICE's presence in Minneapolis. The DOJ's probe is separate from Homeland Security's investigation, which is also being led by the FBI. And we're learning more about the arrest of journalist Don Lemon. DHS says he is being charged with conspiracy and interfering with the First Amendment rights of worshipers. It all stems from a protest earlier this month at a church in St. Paul. Lemon was recording the rally and says he was not there as a demonstrator. In a statement, his attorney said that Lemon's work is protected by the First Amendment and that he will fight the charges vigorously. On the Senate floor this morning, Minority Leader Chuck Schumer called for Lemon's immediate release.
The arrest is a dark message to journalists everywhere. If you dare criticize this administration, watch your back. That's not a democracy. That's a police state. And that is pure authoritarian bile. Democracy will suffer if the government chokes our civil liberties.
Lemon is currently not affiliated with any direct news agency. He is working independently, but he did launch his journalism career right here in Chicago more than 2 decades ago.
On Capitol Hill, the Senate inching closer to an agreement to fund the government.
That's right. Even if a deal gets done, it'll still need to pass the House, meaning a temporary government shutdown could be inevitable. Caroline.
Down to the wire, the Senate meeting in Washington to hammer out a last-minute funding package.
Senator Thune wants this vote on the floor. Senator Thune wants to avoid a shutdown. President Trump wants to avoid a shutdown.
At the very least, a partial government shutdown is unavoidable. But the question is, how long will it be?
The it'll be a temporary one because we're going to pass it today. There'll be a couple of days and the House will come back and pass it.
The holdup largely revolves around the Department of Homeland Security.
It appears as though there'll be a CR for DHS funding for a couple of weeks. And then we're going to have a debate. We're going to have a debate whether or not we're a country that believes in law and order.
With Democrats protesting the latest spending package after a second deadly shooting in Minneapolis.
Using taxpayer dollars literally to kill American citizens in cold blood. That's what Republicans have done.
We need real accountability over ICE and the Border Patrol. Masks need to come off, cameras need to stay on, and officers need visible identification. No secret police.
After the Senate votes, the bill goes back to the House for final passage.
As soon as possible, but as you know, it usually takes 72 hours.
Speaker Johnson says the earliest the full House could vote is on Monday. In New York, Caroline Elliott, Fox Chicago.
We learned of this morning. Harvey Mayor Christopher Clark has died. He was first elected in 2019. City officials tell us Clark passed away after battling an undisclosed illness. He did not attend one of the most recent city council meetings. That was on January 12th, the first held in 2 months. A city council meeting scheduled for this past Monday was canceled at the last minute. A special meeting will be held Monday to appoint an acting mayor for the remaining 2 years of Clark's term.
Chicago's Police Oversight Board has named its new boss. COPA's interim leader, LaKenya White, remains the permanent leader of the agency. Now, she was officially nominated yesterday. She's been leading the group since March of last year, taking over for Andrea Kirsten. White says she looks forward to building trust between CPD and the city. Her nomination is now headed to the city's Police and Fire Committee. City Council and the mayor will have to ultimately approve.
Still to come right here on Fox Chicago, 3 million pages, years of secrecy, and also a missed deadline.
The Justice Department is opening the vault on Jeffrey Epstein, raising new questions about what's in the files and why it took so long.
And thousands of Illinois residents are at risk of losing their federal food benefits. Details on a new program to ensure participants are meeting new work requirements.
And a new clinical trial at Rush is putting immersive tech to the test.
Who's the celebrity?
Well, 1 week away from the Winter Olympics, and organizers are calling for a 52-day pause of all wars worldwide. The proposed timeout would cover the February 6th through February 22nd Winter Games, as well as the March 6th through March 15th Paralympics. The, quote, Olympic truce traditions date back to the 9th century, ancient Greece, when 3 kings agreed to a treaty pausing conflicts for safe participation in those early Olympic Games.
The Department of Justice has released what it says are 3 million pages of Jeffrey Epstein files with some disturbing allegations.
Yeah, this latest document dump includes anonymous accusations of alleged rape, sexual assault, and sex trafficking against President Donald Trump, among other bombshell revelations.
The DOJ releasing another wave of evidence related to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein on Friday, including more than 3 million pages, 2,000 videos, and 180,000 images.
Today's release marks the end of a very comprehensive document identification and review process to ensure transparency to the American people.
Some of the files released Friday show Epstein's correspondence with Elon Musk, including this email reportedly from Musk asking to visit Epstein in the Caribbean in 2013. But Musk posted on X last year, Epstein tried to get me to go to his island and I refused. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche says the White House is not involved in the review or release of any of the documents. A Fox review of the files found President Trump's name mentioned hundreds of times with no indication of any criminal wrongdoing.
Has every document that mentions the word Trump been released? Yes or no? We need answers.
We did not protect President Trump. We didn't protect or not protect anybody.
There are multiple redactions in Friday's release, but the Justice Department claims they're to protect victim identities and ongoing investigations.
There's not some tranche of super secret documents about Jeffrey Epstein that we're withholding.
The House Oversight Committee has subpoenaed numerous members of Epstein's inner circle to testify, including convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell.
And this whole investigation is not just about the crimes, but about the cover-up as well.
The House could vote as early as next week on contempt of Congress charges for Bill and Hillary Clinton, who have defied a subpoena to appear before the Oversight Committee over their contacts with Epstein. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox Chicago.
The man accused of murdering a healthcare CEO will not face the death penalty. A judge has dismissed the federal murder charge against Luigi Mangione, calling it, quote, technically flawed. But Mangione still faces stalking and state murder charges, both of which carry a maximum sentence of life in prison. Also, in a bizarre twist, a man was arrested this week after he showed up at the detention center where Mangione is being held, claiming to be an FBI agent trying to free him. Court filings say the suspect had a fake court order and weapon-like items in his backpack, including a pizza cutter and barbecue fork. The 36-year-old from Minnesota is now being held at the same facility as Mangione.
The death toll continues to rise after a winter storm swept across parts of the U.S. At least 85 people now confirmed dead, and the risks are not over yet. Thousands in the South are still in the dark from recent storms. Emergency crews are hard at work clearing roads and working to repair power lines. People without power are taking shelter in warming centers.
Sleeping in the cold, eating in the cold, going to bed in the cold, and I just got I couldn't take the cold anymore.
We are less than 100,000 Mississippians without power now, but we still have a long, long way to go.
And the next round of bitter cold temperatures are expected to arrive tonight. Wow, it just seems like we've been in this forever. Let's take a look outside. Mark Strell, are we done with the lake effect snow, or is the machine revving up for one more round?
Oh, no, we're still going all the way through the night and through the early part of the weekend, especially for northwest Indiana. And that cold air that you're talking about, that cold air has made it all the way down deep into Florida, where tonight there are cold weather warnings all the way down into West Palm Beach, which is all the way down on the southern end of the peninsula. And there's even a chance that a few flakes could fly around Tampa coming up this weekend as well. So really, where do you go to? Where do you run? Where do you hide when you're tired of winter? Well, here's what's going on for us. It's lake effect snow coming in off the lake, the heaviest snowfall now sliding through the western suburbs down towards the southwest, heading down towards Morris right now, down towards Interstate 80. And this has dropped visibility across much of the area down to under a half mile as that band of snow slides across the region. Temperatures right now mostly in the teens. We do have 20s in the southern half, and those temperatures are going to continue to moderate over the next couple of days, which is really the best news of all. And also, we don't have those brutally cold wind chill values. We do have wind chills that are cold, but for the most part, above the 0 mark. Right now, Rockford, the only place I can find right now with -2 wind chill values. This is a look at our futurecast. You can see that lake effect snow. It's kind of transitioning from the north side of Chicago through Chicago and then down to the southwest side as we go through the evening and the overnight hours. And then it's aimed firmly on northwest Indiana, where coming up over tonight through tomorrow morning, we could see 4 to 5, even 6 inches of snowfall on the south end of the lake. Here in Chicago, 1, 2, 3 inches with some isolated 4-inch snowfall totals are possible. And we'll expect to see the heaviest snowfall, the tightest visibility, again, on the south end of the lake. There could be a little bit more activity for us as we go through the morning and into the afternoon tomorrow. But for the most part, this is sliding down south end of the lake. So looking out over the lake right now, we do have sunshine at this location, but you can see the lake. That lake cranking up the snow machine and hurling that snowfall inland. This is a rapidly evolving situation, so weather conditions are going to form, then move on, and it's going to be one of those heads-up situations as we go through tonight and through tomorrow.
All right, more business for the snow plows.
Yeah, and Mark is always on top of it. Make sure you download that Fox 32 weather app. Coming up, Wall Street reacts to President Trump's pick to head the Federal Reserve.
And a mother gives birth to a child that's not hers after an IVF error. Their search for their baby's biological parents next.
And a push to relax the usual work grind is still to come. Why one lawmaker says our 5-day work schedule is hurting productivity. We'll have that and much more right after this break. Stocks falling to end the week. The S&P 500 finished down 0.4%. The Dow dropped 179 points, and the NASDAQ lost 0.9%. Well, after months of teasing his decision, President Trump is nominating former Fed Governor Kevin Warsh to be the next chairman of the Federal Reserve.
That's right. Warsh is a visiting fellow in economics at Stanford University. He served as a Fed governor from 2006 to 2011, the youngest in history. If confirmed by the Senate, Warsh would replace Jerome Powell when his term expires in May. President Trump appointed Powell back in 2017, but has been highly critical of him over the last year for not cutting interest rates fast enough. Warsh's record shows he typically supports higher interest rates to control inflation. So far, at least one Republican says he'll oppose the nomination over the Justice Department's probe of Powell and cost overruns on renovating the Federal Reserve building.
I'm not going to vote for any Fed board member until the current legal matter has been resolved. And it's up to the DOJ to decide how to resolve it.
Now, Senator Elizabeth Warren, a Democrat, calls this nomination, quote, the latest step in Trump's attempt to seize control of the Fed.
New details on a shocking fertility mix-up in Orlando. For the first time, we're seeing the family suing a clinic after discovering their IVF baby is not genetically theirs. The couple says they realized the mistake after the baby girl was born and a different race. This was in December. It was later confirmed by DNA testing. They are now suing IVF Life Incorporated in Longwood for implanting the wrong embryo. The couple's lawyer says while they will happily raise the baby girl, they do believe that she should, quote, legally and morally be united with her genetic parents.
But right now, it's just an incredibly fearful time for these people. They're growing more and more in love with their daughter and more certain that neither the law nor the clinic is capable of helping them unpack all of this without some considerable and heartbreaking effort on their part.
The couple's lawsuit is asking that the clinic disclose whether other families may have been impacted by the embryo mix-up. The Fertility Center of Orlando says it is actively cooperating with the ongoing investigation.
Wow, what a situation. And after the break, new federal rules are taking effect this weekend, impacting everything from aid benefits to how you fly.
A Shakespearean actor enchants Chicago public school students will take you inside an unforgettable night.
Apple Vision Pro goggles could be the latest tool GI doctors are using to identify polyps. We'll explain.
It's starting the day with hope. Knowing you're in the right place. Having access to advanced treatments and the most experienced cancer experts. When you're facing cancer, it's not just one thing that makes the difference. It's everything. The big, the small, the unexpected that helps you keep moving forward. Advocate Healthcare. Cancer care that makes the difference.
During the President's Day sale at Ashley,
Right now at the bottom of the hour, you could call her a mother to millennials. We're taking a look back at the astonishing career of Catherine O'Hara.
So many amazing movies. What a great actress. The local group is finding balance between new SNAP work requirements and the increase in public need.
Plus, the Secretary of State's office is responding to our questions. How can two cars have the same plates?
All right, look forward to that. But first, another burst of snow is on the way. Mark is back with another check of the forecast. Mark, it keeps piling and piling. How much are we going to get, or how much is Northwest Indiana going to get?
You know, they can see easily 4, 5, 6 inches of snowfall because that's where the brunt of the snow is going to come down coming up over the next 24 hours. You can see no problems where we're at here, but look out over the lake and you can see those angry clouds producing that lake effect snow and then shooting it right across sections of Chicago. So this is going to be a highly localized snowfall event. It's sliding through the city here. This is a look at Futurecast. And then as it slides down to the southwest, it'll set up largely overnight tonight and through the early morning hours, Northwest Indiana. That's why that area is going to see the heaviest snowfall. But as we go through the later morning hours tomorrow, it looks like this could kind of whip briefly back into Chicago. So even though it goes through once, doesn't mean we're quite done. We could get a little secondary effect coming up early tomorrow morning before it all kind of withers on the vine as we go towards midday and into the afternoon. And then temperatures actually warm up just a little bit. We'll talk more about that. The 7-day forecast that should make you a little happier anyway coming up.
All right, the slow thaw begins, and big changes are coming to how Illinois and other states dole out SNAP benefits as new work requirements are set to take effect this Sunday.
The changes impact previously exempt groups. Able-bodied adults up to age 64 without minor children will now be required to work or even volunteer at least 80 hours per month to remain eligible for food assistance. The work rules are also expanding to include people who are homeless, veterans, and parents of teens 14 and older. Illinois state officials estimate that as many as 400,000 residents could be pushed out of this program under these new rules. In direct response, Meals on Wheels Chicago is launching a new initiative to make volunteer opportunities easily accessible.
We are launching the Snap Together volunteer program that we offer at the Nourish Chicago Pantry. We will record the volunteer hours for the time that they are able to participate. And those are things varying from, like I said, setting it up, distributing, getting the room ready, helping their other senior community members to the line.
You can watch that full interview on Chicago Live. SNAP recipients will have until March 1st to present proof of job status.
Well, if you're set to travel this weekend, don't forget about this. Starting Sunday, February 1st, you'll need either a real ID, a military ID, or passport to pass through TSA at the airport. Otherwise, prepare to pay up. TSA is launching its new Confirm ID service. For $45, you can verify your identity using your name, address, and birth date online at tsa.gov. The process can take anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes and must be completed before you enter the airport security line. Confirm ID is valid for 10 days of travel, meaning travelers making week-long trip only need to pay that fee once.
Okay, so this one had us scratching our heads, but tonight on Fox Chicago, a mystery is now solved. 2 different cars with the same license plate, but it turns out the plates are actually different. This all started when Susan Bonini got a red light ticket in the mail. The license plate seemed to match, but the car that went through that red light is a black Chevy SUV. Bonini drives a green Subaru, and she hasn't been to Chicago in years. We got the Illinois Secretary of State office on the case. They tell Fox Chicago the license plate was misread and, quote, after running different variations of the plate, we identified a vehicle matching the make and model listed on the ticket that has the same plate digits. But here's what's different. Turns out the first character is the letter Z instead of a 2. Red light citations are generated by using automated plate reading technology, and also a human has to verify that ticket before it's even issued.
I've never been to Irving Park Road in Chicago. And it's frustrating to me that it's going to cost me money for this mistake that somebody else is doing. But then out of caution, I did get new plates.
Now, Bonini is from Lisle, and she doesn't have to worry about this because we did get on the JOB. The Secretary of State now saying that they will issue a letter to CPD alerting them of this mix-up.
Those 2s and Z's can be pretty confusing.
Yeah,
wow.
I guess with a little salt and a little snow on your plate.
Right. All right. Well, AI is changing the way we live. AI won't make that mistake, right? Who knows? Yes. It's even impacting how doctors deliver care.
Yes, Casey Cronez takes us to Rush, where a groundbreaking study could change the future of gastrointestinal care.
Doctors at Rush are pairing immersive technology with patient care. It's part of a clinical trial here in the GI department, but could expand to hospitals across the nation.
Very interesting. What I can do with this, as I said, I can size it, I can move it from side to side.
At Rush University Medical Center, Dr. Irving Waxman is showing us how Apple Vision Pro goggles are on track to improve how doctors see and spot colon cancer. In partnership with Cosmo MedTech AI, based in Italy, the hospital launched a clinical study earlier this month, exploring whether the technology could aid doctors as they perform colonoscopies and endoscopies. Instead of a doctor turning away from the patient, the goggles will project what's on nearby screens right before their eyes.
What I'm seeing is really what you were seeing on the monitors, the endoscopic image, except I have the visual field enlarged in front of me. So I'm actually bringing that picture in a very high definition level almost into my physical space. And that is really very, very exciting.
The system is powered by GI Genius, and Dr. Waxman says AI is on its way to becoming a crucial tool in cancer detection. The green squares that are popping up, those are identifying polyps, and Waxman says they're serving as an extra set of eyes. In the U.S., colorectal cancer is the third leading cause of cancer-related deaths in men and the fourth in women. Waxman says if approved, it's only the beginning for technology like this.
15 patients took part in the initial clinical trial. Next, the findings will be shared with the FDA for review before additional trials take place. Reporting at Rush, Casey Cronus, Fox Chicago.
Fascinating technology. Thank you, Casey. Dozens of police officers in Cicero are being honored for their service to their community. Officers gathered at the Cicero Community Center this morning for the special ceremony. It recognizes several big accomplishments the department has completed within the past year. Cicero's police superintendent presented over 80 awards to officers and staff who have gone above and beyond in service. He says their daily commitment to service helps make a difference in their community.
Today's ceremony's purpose is very simple and meaningful: to honor those who have gone above and beyond the call of duty. Whether it's courage displayed in a dangerous situation, consistent dedication to doing the job the right way, or actions that make our community safer, today's honorees represent the very best of our department.
Now, each officer received a certificate to mark the milestone.
Well, some theater students were treated to an unforgettable night with Sir Ian McKellen.
Oh, my God, how much fun is that? The acclaimed stage and screen actor is known for his role in X-Men and Lord of the Rings, among so many other movies. Jake Hamilton joined him at the Chicago Shakespeare Theater.
Sir Ian, an honor to see you again,
Thank
sir.
you very much.
Thank you for taking the time. I appreciate you. I was in that crowd last night, and I truly believe with all my heart that there is at least one young man or young woman who is now going to pursue the arts, pursue acting, because of the stories you told and because of the wisdom that you imparted.
Well, that may be, but I'd much rather know that there were going to be 600 people who would like to come back to the theatre and see other actors at it. But they were so enthusiastic. They knew what they were in for, I think, and we gave them a bit of Gandalf as a teaser. But once we got onto the Shakespeare, they seemed equally enthusiastic about listening, which is the point. You're an audience and you are in the theatre to listen, and they were doing that beautifully. And I had a lovely time.
It was,
but you know, this place, the Chicago Shakespeare Theatre, does accommodate young people a great deal, and there's a short version of Shakespeare's play Hamlet at the moment, which I've seen, which plays exclusively to young people who come in during the day and watch it. And I think during the season they've played to something like 20,000 young people. That's an awful lot. Chicago will never be the same because of this theatre.
Absolutely. Well, she was a friend of Chicago and a mother to a generation.
Catherine O'Hara, Hollywood is mourning. After the break, a look back at her legacy.
Save big money on everything you need.
Welcome back. Well, you know, we are always working hard here at Fox Chicago, and we are getting answers for you. Earlier this week, we brought you the story of a single mom of 4 in desperate need of repairs inside her Albany Park apartment. Inside the unit, located in the 4800 block of North Avers, Nicole S. showed us a trash bag covered a gaping hole right above the apartment's only shower. The main door inside the unit didn't close properly, allowing for cold air and drafts to come inside. She also pointed to mold in the bathroom. Now, after Fox 32 stepped in, we can report repairs are now underway.
Two-time Emmy winner and Home Alone star Catherine O'Hara has died.
Ashley Dvorkin offers us a look back at her amazing career.
A comedic legend who has created iconic characters in beloved movies and television for decades, Catherine O'Hara has died at the age of 71. Famous for roles like Moira on Schitt's Creek, Delia Dietz in Beetlejuice, and Kate McAllister in Home Alone, O'Hara's incredible range and talent won over generations of audiences. Born in Toronto in 1954, O'Hara began her acting career in theater.
Tip, that's a really stupid name.
She joined the Second City Theater Troupe in the 70s. There, she met longtime friend Eugene Levy. The two co-starred in her film debut, 1980's Double Negative, and would go on to work together throughout their careers.
If you don't let me gut out this house and make it my own, I will go insane.
In 1988, O'Hara brought the hilariously eccentric Delia Dietz to life in Tim Burton's Beetlejuice, a role she reprised in 2024's Beetlejuice. In 1990, O'Hara played one of the most famous movie moms in one of the biggest holiday films of all time, with Home Alone, and then Home Alone 2 in 1992. Her voice work included 1993's A Nightmare Before Christmas as Sally. Shortly after, she became part of another famous troupe, cast in her first Christopher Guest mockumentary, Waiting for Guffman. She reunited with Guest and the group for 2000's Best in Show, 2003's A Mighty Wind, and in 2006, For Your Consideration.
This wine is awful.
In 2015, she and Levy starred in Schitt's Creek, a series created by Levy's son, Dan. With a signature style and singular vocabulary, Moira Rose quickly became iconic. Catherine earned an Emmy, a Golden Globe, and a SAG Award for the character. The series aired for 6 seasons and won 9 Emmys. Most recently, she received an Emmy nomination for another scene-stealing performance in The Studio. Catherine O'Hara is survived by her husband, Bo Welch, and her sons, Matthew and Luke. In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
You know, if you were young when Home Alone came out, she was like America's mom, but then all these roles, all these movies, you realize how funny she was. What an unbelievably talented comedic actress.
Yeah, and definitely will be remembered.
Absolutely. A lot of movies to go back and watch and relive.
For sure. Well, still to come, rolling back the clock, how one small county is improving productivity by cutting hours.
And can you spot the mistake? This Chinese New Year plush toy is going viral.
Can't see it.
I don't see it yet.
I think we're too far away. And a winter storm warning is in effect. Mark has your full forecast coming your way next. But a little slick out there right now. Here's a look at your trip home. Take it easy, slow down when it gets dark. Make sure you really pay attention. That's when you have a lot of black ice out there. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Parts of the nation's capital will be transformed into a racetrack this summer. President Trump expressed the need for speed as he signed an executive order to bring an Indy car race to D.C. as part of the celebration of America's 250th birthday. The event is being called Freedom 250. TGIF, why wait for Friday? Forgot what I was about to say.
Today, Friday.
Today is Friday. The 40-hour work week has been part of the economy's engine for decades. Now its origins date back to the year 1938.
But for a Seattle lawmaker, and maybe myself, its time is up. Washington State Representative Sean Scott has proposed House Bill 2611, which would shorten the standard work week to 32 hours starting in 2028. I think some European countries have that. The bill intends to secure a 32-hour work week for workers while maintaining pay and benefits. The Democrat argues that Americans work 125 more hours a year than workers in Canada and other parts of the world. See? And that has not made the U.S. any more productive. In Washington State, one county has already made the switch to a 4-day work weekend. The congressman says it's working.
In the People's Republic of San Juan County, where a 32-hour week is law, officials have reported an 18% decrease in sick calls, a 216% increase in people applying for job openings, and an 83% rate of workers who saw improved work-life balance.
How about, like, you know, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
That's true, but I was just curious how many people live in that county. I just had to know. 17,000 and some change live in that county, so not a lot of people.
So that's like 5 blocks in Chicago.
Yeah, that's
or
what I'm saying.
maybe a couple miles,
yeah,
square
well,
miles.
Maybe they're onto something. We'll move over Labubu's. The hot new toy that everyone wants in 2026 is the sad horse. Do you understand what's going on here? Keep looking. Yeah, Chinese company was embracing the year of the horse and meant to make smiling plush horses. Oh. But here's what the final product actually looks like. It turns out there was a manufacturing mistake and its mouth was sewn on upside down instead of refunds. People are loving it. Maybe that's what the year is really going to bring. I mean, it's just
horse.
You had one job to put the smiley face on the horse, and you screwed it up.
And I think the nostrils are below
a little odd too.
The mouth.
Yeah.
Right. That's bad in and of itself.
Got to rotate it 180 degrees. It's fixed. There you go.
But now, okay, check out the picture on the left. Look at the eyes kind of looking down. Yeah. If you just didn't look at the upside down mouth, the eyes even look sad, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Oh, it does. You're right. Like, help me, help
me. Help me. I'm in this Chinese factory and they're putting my mouth on upside down. Get me out of here.
2026.
It's you know, it's a learning toy.
It's a learning curve.
We're going to learn about work conditions.
Well, hopefully that isn't a sign of what's to come.
They're smiling. They're reacting to the weather.
Let's hope that's all.
I'm going to gallop on over here and show you what's going on. We've got a winter storm warning that is in effect for Chicago until midnight tonight. That continues through the morning hours tomorrow for northwest Indiana. And that's because of this. This is lake effect snow that's now sliding just south of the east-west tollway, Interstate 88, heading down towards Morristown around Interstate 80. And it has reduced visibility here this evening and slickened up the roads. You can see some pretty tight visibility, again, just south of Interstate 88. This is the pocket of snowfall that's coming down right now. And elsewhere, we're not seeing any snowfall at all. In fact, we're even seeing a break in the clouds in some locations and a little shot of some sun as it pushes down over the horizon. North-northeast winds now at 15 miles per hour makes it feel like 4 degrees. We do have wind chills, but at least they're above zero. We'll take the little breaks wherever we can find them. This is the pocket of the heavier snowfall that's sliding our way. There's more coming down the lake, and I expect to see this kind of veer around the lake and then head towards northwest Indiana by tonight. That's why we're expecting the heaviest snow to be on the bottom of the lake as per usual. Temperatures right now in the upper teens here in Chicago. Most locations are in the upper teens, and wind chills mainly in the single digits, but right now Rockford at 2 degrees below zero. Over the next couple of days, a little sunshine coming our way by the time we hit to Sunday, and the temperatures are starting to build back very slowly. Upper 20s for the second half of the weekend, with temperatures on Monday all the way up to 30 degrees. We'll take that. The snow being produced up the lake and then shooting all the way down the lake. The entire length of the lake is producing some snowfall, or at least in the production part of producing the snow that's going into northwest Indiana coming up overnight tonight. That's one of the reasons we're expecting some heavier snowfall there. And Futurecast, another little reinforcing shot of cooler air dropping all the way down into Texas. It's going to be cold, not only from Texas, but into Florida. I'm sure the iguanas will be falling out of the trees again in Florida coming up overnight tonight as temperatures dip down into the 20s. All the way down most of the way south of the peninsula, south of Orlando tonight. Futurecast has some snowfall knocking at the door, but it kind of dissipates and falls apart for the most part as it slides our direction. Tonight, we do have some lake effect snow. Temperatures tonight down to 9 degrees. Tomorrow, temperatures of 25. Quick look at that 7-day forecast showing that warming trend, if you want to call it that. Temperatures in the 20s and 30s for much of the rest of the week. Stick around. We've got more coming up in a moment.
The Chicago Wolves take on the Grand Rapids.
Well, the NFL regular season is over, but the MFL, the Mutant Football League, is going strong.
Eamon Dignam shows us how a post-apocalypse football game is quickly becoming the voice of a gaming generation.
Michael Menheim loves football and B-movies. He's been combining them since the 90s when he worked for Electronic Arts, where he created Mutant League Football, which was second only to Madden in terms of popularity.
Now it's, considered a classic game. If you go Google what are the all-time classic football games, Mutant League Football is always going to be there.
Now Menheim is the creative designer of Digital Dreams, and he says Mutant League Football spawned toys, sequels, and a Saturday morning cartoon before EA let the intellectual property lie dormant. So he snatched it up.
We self-funded the title, we did a Kickstarter campaign, and we were able to release MFL 1. And it was a reasonably solid success for our company.
And with that funding, they brought in the man from everybody's favorite arcade basketball game, NBA Jam.
I am Mr. Boom Shakalaka, a.k.a. Tim Kitzrow, or it's the other way around. The original voice of NBA Jam, NFL Blitz, and all your favorite sports games. And I am now proudly the voice, maybe 3 voices, of Mutant Football League.
And he's bound to get a bigger paycheck for the Mutant League reboot than he did for NBA Jam. It was only $800, but it also set up his career.
Those games in NFL Blitz had a huge influence on the arcade, you know, the pop culture world, everything else, the video game world. Man, oh man, it just blew my mind.
And with Super Bowl 60 right around the corner, Menheim says his games have a better prediction rate than Madden does. So we'll factor that into our own predictions next week. In New York,